Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming with another update on my thoughts on Pathfinder War of the Righteous. Like I said, I'm not going to make, if you watch the other video, I'm not going to make a series of little videos like I did with Kingmaker, because I think this game is going to be far too complicated to do that without making hundreds, and each battle is going to take a bit of time. So I'm just going to make a few early on of how the game looks and what I think about it, and then I might make another one somewhere down the line. So I've already made a video, kind of, if you watched before, if not you can go back and watch it, of my overall thoughts of how War of the Righteous compares to Kingmaker, so I'm not going to do that again. You're in the city of Drezen, which you've captured in the, I think it's the third chapter, second chapter, I can't remember. Anyway, and how that kind of is functioning is a bit like the camps you had in Kingmaker, where you've got all your different units, all the people in your party. There's a tavern, there's a few other places as well. There's lots to visit actually, it's a big area. I think I showed you in the first video. So the things I'm going to show you in this, which are a bit different, not much. This is the first one, which is not much different. You have the Citadel, which is the thing you capture at the end of the battle in Drezen, and it's now serving as similar to your palace in Kingmaker. It's different because you don't have your kingdom, but you do have a kind of area you manage. You've got this similar screen. It's different. Like I said, you haven't got advisors, and I think that's a good thing, because that was my biggest complaint about the first game. Not the advisors, but the way that worked and how it didn't work actually. But you get a similar screen where you've got a big map, which I'm going to show you. And I think this game is more complicated to understand early on. Like I said in the last video, that was kind of more turn-based play, so you just get into it, you send your party out, do some turn-based stuff, and if you know any turn-based games, you're going to know how to do it. This has got more systems and there's more going on, especially once you get into it a bit. And once you get past this Drezen tractor, there's even more going on. So you get this map, which I'm going to show you eventually. And you can see it's similar to the way it was looking in Kingmaker, with a few exceptions. Obviously there's no advisors, as I said. You've got events, you get a couple straight up, which I've kind of dealt with. You can do them on the screen. So basically you click on that and you get, and you can see it says choice effects, and I just clicked on whichever one I thought was the right one, and I did it. It's a similar theory to how you would have done it in Kingmaker, where one of those would have been the advisor doing it, but instead you do it, and I like that system much better because it ends straight away. You get the choice, and you choose wrong or right. You might get the wrong decision, you might decide to make the wrong choice, but it doesn't fail. So I think that's much better. You can do decrees, which are what they are, but you need quite a lot of bits and pieces. You need logistics to do that one, and you need diplomacy, and I haven't got those things. I've literally just started. So you get the map, which is this whole thing. It's not going to show me the whole map because I want to show it. But you get this map, which is, that's just the area we're in. It's quite a big map actually. And then you get cities, which is similar to the towns you had in Kingmaker. These are actually, they're not cities because it says cities, but they're actually, you can see it's an outpost. And just like with Kingmaker, upgrade different things. You can decide quite a few different bits and pieces here you can do things with. Tells you what they all are, different areas. And yeah, you can upgrade your cities just like you would in Gargoyle Canyon. Doesn't sound like a great name for a city, but anyway, you can upgrade all your areas. It doesn't give you the ability to change the names as far as I can see, but anyway, that doesn't really matter. But yeah, so you can build things in those, but instead of it being the things you would have built in the cities or the towns in Kingmaker, these are military things basically. There's hospitals, but that's kind of a military thing, so that's how that works. And if you play Kingmaker first, you won't find that too complicated. Some of it you probably will be a bit like, how do I get that? Because like I said, some of it with the decrees, you need to upgrade all your different logistics and diplomacy and military first, but there's no rush. I found at the beginning of Kingmaker, like the beginning, or this is kind of the beginning, because the rest of it was kind of getting to this part where you've got the whole map and the whole world open up, was not that difficult. It's later on when it got much more urgent to do things. So you need to give yourself, I definitely advise you, and I have, to save your game before you start Drezen, because you may wish to change some of the decisions that you make in there. There's quite a few different characters that die, so you may wish to change that, because later on you may wish to play again and not go through the whole rest of the game. And definitely save it when you finish Drezen, like I have saved in that little screen I started off with, where I'm just standing in the city, because once you start, it's a learning curve. And I've already played through this once for about half an hour and realised that I had not really done what I wanted to do, and I concentrated on the things which I'm actually going to go into next, because you won't know, and you'll do what's the right thing for the game, and you won't know what's right for the game until you start getting into this part of it. I think, as I said in the first video, you've got this kind of second part to the game, and I'll show you that now. So when I come out of here, sorry there's going to be a few loading screens in this, but it's necessary to show you all the bits. So you can come out of the Citadel. It's not as big as it is when you fight through it in the actual game, and you can go where you want to go. There's all these different places. It's a big city, so you've got barracks, you've got a temple, and you'll probably need to go to all these places at different times, but not straight up. So I'm going to leave. So this is similar to leaving your capital in Kingmaker. You just take who you want, and so I'll just take who I've got with me. That part of it we'll all have. It's like every game, every turn-based game, every game. We have our favourites, or the people we're used to, or the people we like and don't like, or that we feel mixed together well. So that will be the same in every game. Like in Dragon Age Inquisition, I always used to take Sarah unless I really needed somebody else, because although she was annoying, she was kind of different to the others. And so it's all personal taste with that. I think a lot of them can mix in with each other, and it's kind of the ones you feel comfortable with, the ones you kind of like, are the ones you'll probably play best. So, but like I said, you may have a particular kind of strategy, much beyond what I think, to pick who you'll bring. But I just bring the ones I like, and I always think it's good to have a healer, and good to have range, and good to have a melee, and then other than that I sort of mess around with the rest. So this is the big map. That's the thing you get like normal. I don't want to do that. So this is the big map. You can see there's a lot of it. And you've got a whole massive area of armies and these enemy. There you go, there's an enemy fort. Tells you who's there. This is the area that you start off in. So we've come from Kennebrace, that's where we start, and we've come down here, so we know that. Doesn't mean there's nothing else to do down there, and I've not been to all the places, as you can see, but we've conquered these forts. That's why they've gone green. So the other thing you will do in this is you get this when you press the middle bar, which is you can scroll backwards and forwards between your own group and your armies, and these are our armies. And then when you press L2 you get your armies, and at the moment I've got one with a general, and you've got other armies that are just kind of general-less. You have to buy generals, and they're quite expensive. I think I've got 3, but I use this one that you can see on screen to do the last bit of conquering. This is part of the complication with the game. As I said in the last video, it's difficult to get a good enough army to get to Drezen. You can see from where I was, which is right down here, there was numerous along this road. There was forts and enemy armies all the way right up here. I had to go around here for something. Right down here, you can't pass through enemy forts without fighting them, and enemy armies all the way along, and I had to get right up here. So I had to get through a lot, and it's a balancing act. I kind of wanted, because that's what I would do in most games, to get a few generals and level them all up, because they have abilities when they level up. But the way it played out, it just wasn't the finance or the strength in troops to do it. So I had to concentrate on one general, which was this one, who has level 5 now, which is good. And you can see from where it says under energy, she's got quite a lot of different abilities. And you'll need abilities. Some of them are really good. The cure wounds is fantastic, because what that basically means, you get quite a lot of that, quite a lot of different goes at that. When you're fighting in a battle, they can cure wounds basically, so you can sort of repair your whole army, which can be really useful. And the other things at all different levels are useful depending on what you're going to do. Master of Manoeuvre means you can have more different types of units in your army. So she's the one that conquered the way to Drezen at the expense of the other generals, because I had to sort of purge their armies and merge them into hers to keep hers very strong. So now you have the problem which you would get, I think, whatever you did, unless you're very, very good at this, or maybe you played it tons of times. I'm not sure how you would do that. Where you've got one general who's pretty highly levelled. Her army's a bit weak, because we just had the big battle when we tried to get to Drezen. But you can see that there's a lot of demon armies that are high levelled, and she's only level 5, and our others are all level 2 or 3, so that's bad. So what you can do is, you've got all these, you have to check on them to see who they are. So we've got that, that's just I remember making that, it's a kind of fill up army. So you move your fill up army along here. You can see that thing below where it says 1 Crusader army, that's Crusader army number 1, or that's the strength of the army, sorry, 1, and then it's got Crusader army 2. And where it says 9, that's the movement points. And then you will go to your army you want to replenish. And you press army, and you press R3, and you can merge. And then you just do this, where you put all your units together, and now she's got some more troops. Not anywhere near enough troops. By the way, where it says demon army, it looks like it's on the road, but actually that's that little fort to the side. The way they have that in the game, it's a bit confusing sometimes, but anyway. So we've got her kind of, we've got another small army there with no general. We've got another small army here. We can go to that army. Actually, what we'll probably do is we'll probably merge that in with her as well. Strength is the thing in this game. You might think you've got like the strongest troops in one unit, but what you'll need is a lot of troops in a lot of units. And I found that out to my cost early on in the game. So it's a game about numbers. It doesn't mean it's all about numbers. There are obviously units that are stronger, and the general makes a lot of difference, like I said, with those abilities, especially things like Cure and Master of Manoeuvre, and you can have more units. So she can have 5 different units, and now we've got 5 different types of units in our army. And now that's a pretty strong army, but it's about numbers against anything else. The 2 things that I found really matter is the general having some abilities that really help, and having a lot of numbers in your army. Having 1 or 2 very strong units won't matter, because there's been other enemies that just will wipe out one of your whole units straight away. And especially if you haven't got a general that can heal and cure wounds, you can be screwed very quickly. So that's that. Then we've got 1 army left. And it will say, just to show you, it will say assign general, and we've got 2, you can see there's 2 generals there. They're both level 2. They're the 2 that in the first game I was trying to level up with her. I was really trying to level up the top one, because she had some offensive training which I thought would come in really useful, and close combat training, and she seemed really good. And she's got a 2 bonus for attack. You can see in those little stats with a sword at the top bar. but I just couldn't find a way to. Every time I got her to attack something, even with all the army I could still give her, she kept getting killed, and I was just wasting troops with him. I just give all the troops to the main general and let her sort it out. So now I've got to try and level up these two. You can get new generals as well, but they cost points or money or whatever it's called. You can buy those just like in the first game, but it all costs. So you want to level up these ones. So the only way to really level them up is obviously to have the battle. So I'm going to assign her to them. So now she's got, and that would be a complete wipeout. If she fought anyone with that, she will be wiped out. I've yet to find out if generals die. So far, when I've been wiped out, my general's gone back to the headquarters, and they have to wait a while until they can be redeployed. But they might die. I can't say they don't. So just to show you how the battle would look. And I'm just doing this for reference purposes. I'm not doing this for any kind of way of showing you how to win a battle, because I wouldn't have taken this unit into the battle like I just said. It's just to show you how it looks, and you'll see what I mean. So this is the battle screen, and as you can see, it plays out. I can't remember what the game is. I think there's a few Dynasty Tactics games that played a bit. I think it was called Dynasty Tactics. A screen like this, so you can see there's a lot of enemies. You can find out who they are. You can do a bit, but you can see they do quite a lot of things as well. I would say in these little battles you have with your armies, it's much more relevant to see we got killed straight away, and that's very quickly. So in these little battles you have with your armies, I would say it's much more, the army retreats than it's fought. So in those battles, it's much more important to understand what abilities the enemy have and what your troops have. Like I said, with my own party, I tend to ignore that and just do what I do. So melee units hit with the biggest sword, and spellcasters fire bolts of whatever it is, and healers heal, and archers fire arrows. But with your troops in those armies, you will really need to kind of get a grip to what the enemies are going to do and what kind of abilities they have and what yours have, because as you just saw, you need to use them and you need to be aware of what they can do, because sometimes I've had it from the beginning of this game where I thought I was outnumbering them and they just fired a cloud of poison at distance, or one of them had some kind of special thing they shot and killed out a whole 100-unit army in like one hit. So you'll really need to be on that. So that's kind of how it is. Like I said, let me find out movement points. You can, in the top corner it says R3, you can forward a die each time you want to. And I'll just show you how you, if I can make it. 4 demon army and they're running away, and I see no reason, I'll show you why. You can let them flee or pursue them. I have yet to see any reason why you pursue, because if you let them flee, they all die anyway. So don't waste your time pursuing them, because I don't know what you get out of that. There might be some slight benefit, I don't know, maybe you get slightly more points for doing, I don't know, but you like with everything, when you do it yourself, you'll probably end up losing. If you can win it by a press of a button, you'll probably lose more troops by doing it yourself. So just take it. You get more morale banners for different things. Those top things where it says Drezen morale high, and you need to keep fighting enemy armies and winning, taking over forts, and what's the other thing? defending forts and obvious things like that. But that can be a problem as well. I found again at the end of the first, before I got to Drezen, I was struggling to keep up with the morale because you find that you're losing battles and you haven't got anyone to fight without losing because you're trying to level up your generals, but the battles get harder because these harder enemies, and near you get to Drezen, and you don't want to fight a battle, but the morale's dropping, so you need to. So that can be a problem as well. We've got some treasure. Sometimes when you fight these, you'll get things. So we've basically wiped out a demon army without really doing much. So that's how it works when it's positive. I've shown you what happens when it's negative, and we all got killed. And that's kind of what I want to show you. I think that's kind of it for systems. I mean, it's a complicated game, so you're not going to pick up everything from the things I've said. But this is just a layman's overview of how it's playing, how it is compared to Kingmaker, and things you might want to concentrate on. So like I said, I'm not going to make regular updates on this like I did with Kingmaker. As you can see, there's so many little battles and things going on. It's almost like I said, two games. You've got the game with your armies on this kind of map, and then you've got the game with your own party on a kind of Kingmaker map, and it's just going to be too much to try and keep updating all the different bits and pieces. But I will update my thoughts on this game at some point later. Anyway, thanks for watching Guessagaingaming. Till next time, take care for now.